Hi, my name is Brusan. I'm the head of adoption at Partisia Blockchain Foundation. Today, we are joined here by Kurt Nelson, president of the council of the foundation. And the topic that today we're going to talk about is the tokenomics philosophy of Partisia Blockchain. The tokenomics is extremely unique. You'll find it very difficult to see anything that is similar to our blockchain. And ultimately, in the end, it is founded on sound and principled economic models. And so I think it is important for audiences who are longtime members of Partisia Blockchain or people who have recently discovered who we are to understand some of the principles, some of the thoughts and vision that the founders had, and why we believe that this type of a tokenomics is really going to help drive the blockchain industry. So, Kurt, would you be able to explain to the audience what was your motivation in creating this type of a unique architecture and unique design?
I would happy to talk about this, and I would like to sort of give a little bit of flavor to what is the design, and then dive into the actual mechanics, because it's not randomly chosen design, and it has been presented. I think we had a full presentation of the design in February 2023. There was a AMA on staking. There was two of them. The last one was in February last year. But let's start from the beginning there with the overall principles for the tokenomics here. It's been very important for us to work on facilitating collaboration between different chains, and we also to separate these two basic objectives, store value and means of payment. And we sort of solve that by the BYOC principle and the bring your own coin. So that's kind of solves both parts. So that is one of the crucial design choices that we made for the chain. Then that also points back at one of your slides there where you had the two strings of rewards to node operators. So one is the rewards, which is that part of the ecosystem pool that is used to bootstrap the network. The other part is the BYOC fees. So these two has different goals, or that different goals around these two. So first of all, the NPC is more like representing the long run value of the chain, where the BYOC is the present value of running the chain, payment for the fees. And that was back to the basic design there between store value and means of payment, that we can have stable prices and we can have fluctuating but stronger and stronger NPC token that is used for staking to as a gateway into running the network.
And you mentioned something that was really interesting, that the MPC reward token is really for the long run. And as the
Exactly.
network continues to grow, alongside it, we also anticipate the MPC token to grow at the same time. And
Yes.
so the BYOC really is now the incentive for the node operators and potentially the token holders to stake for short-term gains, while the long-term gain is really about the growth of the network, and as a result, the MPC token's value rising.
Yeah. From us who sort of designed this network, we had the opportunity to design how we are going to use this subsidy scheme, which is called the rewards. And we wanted to use that to solve different problems, mostly two things. One is to incentivize on-chain utility and to minimize the supply of token, especially in the first part of the network, where the whole thing is more vulnerable. The second part is to incentivize efficient node operation. That brings us back to the very concrete mechanics around how the rewards is distributed. Fixed numbers of tokens for each period, and then there is a competition among who's getting the most of these rewards. That competition points back at these incentives. So we wanted to minimize the supply of tokens, so we are focusing on the unlocked tokens. We want to maximize the staking. Now we are using that fraction, means that the more you stake, and you stake unlocked and locked tokens, you get more rewards. with this fraction, you actually incentivize that staking up to 100%. So it's maximizing the value of the chain. And with the BYOC, we didn't need it to have a liquid MPC coin as a means of payment, but we can use the BYOC. So it allowed us to kickstart the network early on, and we're using that to minimizing supply, incentivize high performance for node operators and on-chain activities. So that's kind of the philosophy around the MPC tokens in rewards.
Mm-hmm.
So then you can look at some scenarios. If I unstake and trade unlocked token, then my percentage become less. So I actually have less rewardable tokens. So that is exactly that incentive to not do that, to have as much stake there and have as many rewardable tokens as possible. Mm. That's the goal for the rewards, because that's how we incentivize the beginning of the network. That's how we put in rules that incentivize people to collaborate. Because all of you node operators, you run the network as a group, and this rule is designed for you to maximize collectively the staking in the network.
So this really explains then the importance of people staking now, because we're really in the beginning stages of the network.
Exactly.
We're beginning to see the BYOC tokens come in, which is incentivizing and rewarding the short-term gain that you were talking about. And as the node operators, as well as the community stakers stake into the network, it really then enables that growth as a whole for the entire ecosystem.
Yes, exactly. In the beginning, there's less unlocked tokens. So you will have that absolute changes has a larger relative effect. And that's what we see with the absolute retraction of staked tokens may have a relative larger effect on the ratio between unlocked and locked tokens, and thereby the rewardable tokens. But that's actually just emphasizing that principle that these incentives are stronger in the beginning of the network, because that's where the network is more vulnerable. So it's actually on purpose that this is designed this way. And again, we really want to use all the tokens for staking locked and unlocked. And that's why when we have that fraction, we have this incentives that goes up to 100% of all staked. Very few do that, and that's fine. I mean, it's just a matter of, having that incentives built in. And you'll definitely see when we have more activities, as we see picking up now, people will come in and stake more because you actually earn present values. You earn the BYOC. And you at the same time, when you do that, you have more rewardable tokens and you get more future values. So it's those principle that is behind this mechanism.
Well, so this principle seems to be tied into your background in economics and also in game theory. How does this philosophy tie in with any other real world examples that have shown success using this type of a model?
Yeah, it sure is supporting basic economics and where you want to build a public good, you want to have this network out there running. You really need to incentivize people to collaborate around building that common good, public good. You can call it when people collectively run this network. So there's some typical problems around that with free riding and tragedy of the common and stuff like that. Where we have to sort of put in incentives to incentivize people to build that public good. And that's actually what these incentives does, and it's or subsidies, the rewards. And I think it's actually this is the instrument that the project has to bootstrap the network. And I think that instrument should be used to create that public good that is best for everyone in the long run. It's always a bit of trade-off, and you cannot get everything. Because I also heard someone saying, okay, we need to have liquidate some tokens in order to pay for the operation. And that's absolutely a fair point. But there's a cost to that. That's not what this incentivizes. But there's still opportunities that you can extract tokens and de-stake tokens, and then you can sell a fraction of your tokens. Clearly, that's an opportunity when these tokens are tradable. But that's not incentivized. And I don't see any good reasoning that why that should be incentivized by this reward scheme.
I think it says a lot about the current crypto industry, where you have such a unique tokenomics as ours, I think it says a lot about what the current crypto industry generally is.
There's been a lot of debate about the whole value of staking and as an entry barrier to become part of this network. And I think this is what you see here is that this mechanism actually works. And with the BYOC and doing bridges the right way, to collaborating bridging of tokens, which is like the most critical part of the blockchain ecosystem. We need the blockchain systems, the different islands to collaborate. That's a lot of value in that. But that's also where you have the biggest security risk. So it really requires people that design these networks to think hard about that. And that's what we did with the BYOC bridges, with the collateralization. And it works. It works very well for our tokenomics because this is a staking token. And it works as a collateralization for these bridges, which is so important to bring the synergies between the different blockchain networks.
This is really fascinating conversation. Kurt, just last question, I think. What is the current roadmap for the blockchain? We talked a little bit about our division. We talked about philosophy, the economic model that we're using to create a sustainable blockchain infrastructure for people to, again, build sustainable businesses on top of. What is the roadmap from your perspective?
Yes, so we'll build the infrastructure around these three principles: the scalability, the interoperability, and the privacy. So the roadmap improves on these three objectives, and it focuses on building things that help adoption. And I would love to talk about that, and that's super important. That's a real driver, right? And we have these two big main track. One is scaled by DeFi, the other one is scaled by data. So scaled by DeFi, we build actually a whole new approach, a scalable execution platform for automated market makers. It's actually solving basic problems on how to work with the liquidity pool that is sitting on completely different shards, completely different blockchains. Because we are building, and that points back to the three objectives, because we're building a scalable blockchain, and the scalability comes from having independent separate shards. So you have a scalability like a cloud computing. It's like running applications across different blockchain. It's very closely integrated, and very, very fast, but it is independent shards. So we were forced to solve problems like the economics of Uniswap. How can you actually make sure that you have guaranteed prices? We did that, and that also solves the problems of having these liquidity pool on completely different blockchains. And with the BYOC, I mean, we are really well positioned to utilize it to do this. And then on top of that, I mean, with the privacy, we can go in there and hide the swap and implement that transaction before it becomes transparent what that transaction was all about, which completely removed the opportunity to front run. DeFi is still like one of the very big growers, but we also see that there's a lot of things going on with data and capturing information supply chain, activating people's private data for DID, for advertisement, for data exchange, putting data to work in different ways. And this is where we come from. This is what we set out to do. Bring in these new advanced cryptography like the MPC technology, MPC as a service. You can come in, you can use smart contract to say that these data need to be hidden and I want to do these type of computation. And then you get a new data economy. You get a data economy where people are actually in control of their data. And that disruption from that is I'm really looking forward to see the impact of this, because that is going to change a lot. We're talking about the biggest driver of Web2 that you can disrupt with this kind of technologies. Back to the rewards, we are looking at the long run game here. This is really like a complete change of the data economy as we know it. And the MPC token is capturing the values on that and put that to work as a stakes. This is how you're changing the data economy with this network.
This is fascinating stuff, Kurt. Really appreciate the time that you took to explain some of these philosophies and concepts and the vision. And I think, at least for myself, I certainly learned a lot.
Hopefully this answered some of the question, at least the philosophy behind why we are doing this. Of course, we are always open for making changes to this, but we also want to explain why we were doing what like we did in the first place. And then from that starting point, make the adjustment that makes things even better.
Fantastic. Thanks, Kurt, for your time. Well, now that Kurt has explained the philosophy and the sound economic model that the Partisia Blockchain's tokenomics is based upon, I want to take the opportunity to describe a little bit more about what the MPC token is used for and some of the staking rules around when the token is being used. So the MPC token holders stake to secure the network. It enables the private data computation through MPC to compute against private data, things like healthcare, things like surveys, advertisements, some of the different examples that Kurt spoke about in the earlier session. The Hermes cross-chain bridge, this is powering the assets from one network to another through our bridge. And it also enables our speed of light consensus protocol. Our consensus protocol is a little bit unique. It's different than other chains that are out there. We actually are running 4 independent shards, or actually blockchains, running in parallel. And we have a sub 1 second finalization time with what we call a eager block production, which means that there is no epoch time between when a block is finalized to when the next block begins production. As soon as the block is finalized on our chain, the next block immediately begins to get created. So you can kind of think of the 4 different blockchains that we have right now that are parallel producing blocks, finalizing them in sub-second, and as soon as those blocks are finalized, you have another block being created and finalized again. And of course, we have the true sharding architecture, which allows for a scalability past the 4 shards of the blockchain that we have, a 5th, 6th, 7th. And the MPC token really powers this. And it ensures against private data leaks. If there is any kind of malicious activity on a chain that creates a data leak for your private data, the MPC token is there to ensure against it. It is also ensuring bridge hacks, potential bridge hacks. Our Oracle key, our bridge Oracle key, is actually protected by our MPC technology and is sharded into 90 plus different pieces and spread across all of our nodes. But even if there was some way to gain access into the system, the MPC token is there to ensure against it. We have a Oracle key refresh in a particular epoch. Each time a epoch completes, a new key is generated. And we also use the MPC token to secure and ensure against price manipulations. We have a pricing oracle, and the MPC token is there to protect and ensure against pricing manipulations. And so at a high level, let's review how the MPC token is used. So this is the token holder. Let's say that this is you, or this is me. If you are a pre-sale token contributor, then you have a set amount of locked tokens, which is in the vesting schedule, and you have a set amount of unlocked tokens. Of course, if you purchased it from an exchange, then everything is already unlocked. And so you can send a subset of that that is considered to be transferable over into a new token buyer, or you can stake your tokens to a node, or you can run a node by yourself. And as a result of staking, you earn rewards. Now, the node operators will then use those tokens that have been staked either by themselves or through a delegated staker and use them in jobs, which will run Baker, Zero Knowledge, or MPC, and the Oracle jobs. And when those tokens are being used as jobs, they are locked. So while the tokens are delegated, they are rewarded. While the tokens are actively in use in jobs, they are locked. But the more you stake, the more you earn. And this is a summary of what we've paid out so far in terms of rewards. The MPC rewards that we've paid out in the last 12 months is over 10 million tokens. It is a 49% APR on rewardable tokens. And I'll go over into what rewardable means in the next slide. So we gave out over 10 millions, but we also began to see significant activities in the chain. And as a result, node operators have received a significant amount of rewards as a part of running their nodes, over 75,000 US dollars amount in ETH, BNB, Matic, USDC, and USDT. And in the future, we will be looking to extend these rewards out to delegated stakers, so that delegated stakers will also be able to receive both the MPC rewards as well as the BYOC block rewards as well. So let's take a look at an example. We talked a little bit about rewardable tokens. And so the rewardable token really is a computation of all delegated tokens times the unlocked tokens divided by all the tokens that you have. And again, if you are a token holder that purchased it from an exchange, then all of your tokens are already unlocked. So all of your tokens are rewardable tokens. But let's take a look at the token holding scenario number one. This is somebody who has 2,000 tokens. 60% of their token is unlocked, so 40% is locked. Now, the holder decides to delegate stake 800 of those tokens. Because he has 1,200 unlocked, his free or transferable token is 400. And the way you compute that is unused minus locked tokens. So in here, he has unused 1,200 tokens subtracted by locked tokens, which is 800, which gives him a free transferable tokens of 400. The rewardable tokens, the tokens that he earns reward on, is the percentage of the unlocked tokens for the total number of tokens that he has against the amount of tokens that he delegated. So in this case, he has 60% unlocked. He staked 800. So 60% of 800 is 480. So 480 tokens are what is being computed to earn his rewards. So now let's take a look at token holder in scenario number two. This particular token holder actually has staked a significant amount because he wants to gain a lot of rewards as possible. In a similar way, he has a percentage of tokens that is unlocked and a percentage of token that is locked. But he decides to stake over 1,700 tokens. So 1,700 token is being staked to a node, but he only has 70% of his tokens, which is unlocked, which is 14%. I'm sorry, 1,400, which means he has a negative balance for his transferable or free tokens. So in order for him to be able to get more tokens to be transferable, he would need to unstake and bring some of the tokens back before he's able to transfer that. But because he staked quite a number of tokens, his rewardable token is now higher. He has it 70% unlocked, and he staked 1,700 of it. So 70% of 1,700 is 1,190. And you can see the difference between token holder scenario number one and token holder scenario number two. Scenario number one decided not to stake a lot, so he has transferable tokens, but he's not earning a lot of rewards. Scenario holder number two decided to stake a lot more to earn as much reward as possible. But as a result of that, he will not be able to transfer tokens because all of his tokens, or most of his tokens, are staked to earn rewards. So to delve a little bit deeper into different examples, here is a MPC token holder account example number 1. Small stakes, small rewards. This user only staked 600. This person is also a node operator. There is additional 600 that has been delegated to his node, and he's used 1,000 of those total tokens in jobs, which means he's got 200 tokens that is freed or be able to be retracted. He also has 400 tokens still able to be transferred. So in this case, he's got small stakes. He's only staked 600, and he's got small rewards as a result of it. Example number 2, large stakes, larger reward. So this user is also a pre-sale contributor. He has, again, 2,000 of your total tokens. 1,500 of that is locked. 500 of that is unlocked. But he decided to stake quite a bit. 1,500 of his 2,000 tokens he decided to stake. And he also has a large number of delegated tokens by others, 750. So in total, he's got 2,250 total staked. 1,500 is staked by the token holder. 750 is delegated staked. He decides to use 1,500 to be used in the job, which means there is 750 tokens if available to be free to be unstaked by either the delegated staker or the token holder himself. But on his account, he's got a negative 1,000 token balance because he decided to earn more rewards rather than transfer those tokens out. Example number 3 is the best of both worlds. He staked a lot, but he also worked hard to get a lot of people delegated stake into his node. So in this case, he has same scenario, 2,000 tokens, and 25% of that is unlocked with 500 of it. He decides to stake 1,500 of those to his node. But because he also has a large number of users that has delegated, has 2,500 delegated, he's got a total of 4,000 tokens that is staked to his node. He decides to use 3,000 for the jobs, which means there's 1,000 token that is freed to be unstaked by either the delegated stakers or by the node operator himself. So in this case, he provided himself a significant amount of flexibility because he worked hard to get a lot of tokens delegated staked to his node. And so this last example really gives you the best of both worlds, provides flexibility to both the token holder as well as the delegated staker, allows for the maximum amount of rewards that you can get, but with the flexibility of being able to transfer things in and out if necessary. So I hope this helped provide clarity into the various different staking rules, as well as the philosophy and the economic model that our blockchain is based on. If you have any further questions, please reach out to us in Discord. If not, I want to thank you guys for being part of the network and part of something that is unique and sustainable in the blockchain industry. Thank you.